Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Shrunatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hidayantastho Habadrani Vidunoti Suritsutam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, verse number 17. Sahasrayuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasranam Te Ahoratra Vido Jana. Sahasrayuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasranam Te Ahoratra Vido Jana. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasranam Te Ahoratra Vido Jana. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Sahasra, 1000, Yuga, millenniums, Paryantam, including, Aha, day, Yat, that which, Brahmana, of Brahma, Vidu, they know, Ratrim, night, Yuga, millenniums, Sahasra, Antam, similarly ending after 1000, Te, they, Aha, Ratra, day and night, Vida, who understands, Jana, people. Translation: by human calculation, 1000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport: the duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion. There being practically no ignorance and vice. And the yuga lasts 1,728,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 1,296,000 years. In the Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 864,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice. True virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 432,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of Yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as the Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satyuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas rotating in 1000 times comprise one day of Brahma, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculation total to 311 trillion, and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the time of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas arising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death, according to the law of material nature. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rikabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to pay my humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Also, I'd like to specifically pay my humble obeisances to His Grace, Simeshwar Prabhu, for giving me this seva and engaging me in this service. And I know in my heart that He's engaging me so that I can indulge in some Shastra reading and have my own purification. Whatever I'll say is just like a puppet without any self-realization, whatever I've learned from our acharyas, and seek their blessing, their mercy, that I can have a tinge of realization. Here, 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is about attaining the Supreme. And it's very wonderful chapter. Bhagavad Gita is, Acharyas explain that the middle 6 chapters are the real crux. And they are covered there by the first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Just like in the sandwich, the real thing is in the center. That's how. And then 8th chapter is the second in that sequence. And Krishna is telling himself how to attain him. Okay? After this 9th chapter, he'll tell more about himself, which will attract us towards Krishna. But this this chapter is telling that how we actually attain Krishna. And the actual verse is the verse number 5th, which Krishna tells. Before that, Krishna is answering. He starts by answering Arjuna's question. Arjuna asks about 6 specific words which Krishna used at the end of 7th chapter. What is Brahman? What is Karma? What is Adhyatma? What is Adi Devas? What is Adi Bhautikas? And then what is the Adi Yagna? Then Krishna says that he starts by explaining in first 4 verses that Brahman is the Jiva, the soul. Then he says that Adhyatma is the nature of the soul, and that is to serve Krishna, establish the relationship with Krishna. Karma is, the activities which are done. Okay, and then Adi Bhautika is this material world, material nature. Adi Devas are, he tells that how the Virat Rupa, the different demigods are the Adi Devas, and then Virat Rupa is the one which is comprising of all these devatas. And then Adi Yagyas is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the super soul residing in everyone's heart. Then he goes on and then tells what is the process of achieving. And he says, this very famous verse, 5th verse, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Kalevaram is this material body. So how, while leaving this body, if somebody smaran, if somebody is remembering Krishna, then he reaches to the Krishna lok. Yad gatvana nivartante yad dhamam tad dhamam paramam. That reaching where you don't come down, you don't fall down. Now, Prabhupada goes on and then explains, and then Krishna is also, explaining, telling this again and again, that how just while doing, in our day-to-day life, when we have, separated time and all, remembering Krishna is so difficult. So how will we remember Krishna at the time of death? And the only way is by practicing. If we keep on practice, then that's what will happen. Okay, then it becomes the second nature. Okay, and we can see the example. We see that cricketers or we take any sports, they put thousands of hours of practice, so that when a bowler is delivering a ball which is 140 kilometers per hour, 150 kilometers per hour, traveling yards is a fraction of seconds. That's the reaction time. In that time, if we try to, if batsman tries to apply mind, it won't work. The thought process, it's just the practice, which practice is automatically kicks in, and then that reflexes make that batsman hit the ball, play the ball. Just like that, we have to put in our daily effort of remembering Krishna. It starts by our morning japa. Okay, then our katha, sadhu sangha, very nicely our leadership at ISKCON of Central New Jersey is organizing these morning Bhagavatam class and an evening Bhagavad Gita class. We have to take advantage of that. Where we attend, we listen, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. That's the sign of being in the association of sadhus, that we are remembering and discussing the Krishna Katha, about Krishna. Now, one point comes up that, we become very busy in our day-to-day work. So one is that, yes, offering the fruits of our work to Krishna. And that can start very simply by, having the nice deities in our home, offering, cooking prasadam, offering, going to market, buying flowers, buying fruits, buying vegetables, buying the different items, keeping in mind that I'm buying this for Krishna, fresh, beautiful things, delicious things. And then with love, cooking them, bringing them, and then offering them to Krishna. Okay? And with that, our even going to office or working becomes our akarma, becomes our devotional service. That's one part of it. But at the same time, I was reading that this is one, but at the same time, while doing this activity, we have to remember Krishna. Not just that, okay, yes, I went to office, I did my work, and then came home and then offered some donation to temple, bought some food stuff, bought some flowers, and then offered it to Krishna, and job done. No, we have to constantly engage our mind in remembering Krishna, not only doing work for him, but also remembering Krishna. And that's not an easy task. It's tough. It requires a lot of practice. If it was very easy, then everybody will do it. But anything worth achieving requires a lot of effort. Yeah. So that's first point which I wanted to make, that making sure that we remember Krishna. Okay? That's at the beginning of the chapter. So Krishna is again and again saying. Now, it comes very automatically to devotees, okay, and then being in the association, so that we can get constantly constant reminders. Oh, Prabhuji, please come for this program, for that program. And with that, with slowly all the other programs get replaced by Krishna conscious programs. Okay? So being in the assembly, association of devotees is some part of it is automatically taken care. Now, then Krishna goes on and then explains in the 8th chapter before 17th verses that he explains about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. And then how he explains that, you think that this process is difficult? Then these are the things which are done by yogis. How yogis actually do this, do achieve me. So what they is, one should, so from starting from verse number 9, he's saying one who meditates upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything. And then he goes on and tells 10 qualities about that. And then he tells from 10th chapter onwards that one who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows, and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain. So see, with this yogi has done so much practice that he can actually fix his life here between the eyebrows. So that's the kind of then person who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into the Brahman. And what do? They reach only up to Brahma. And during such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. And then he goes on and then how he is explaining that, you do this, you do that. Now, these are very difficult processes. And then he is explaining all this to make it clear that whatever all these devotees are doing by all these difficult asanas, pranayamas, and practices, a devotee engaged in the direct devotional service to Krishna can very easily attain. Okay? And that's, bhakti yoga, the devotee who is engaged in the devotional service. Okay. Now, one may decide that, okay, no, that's fine. I'm comfortable. This is a very difficult process. How about I try for higher planetary system? So that question may arise in one's mind that, okay, no, I don't want to do this. In fact, I should endeavor for more material benefit. Okay. And that's where Krishna is explaining, starting from this verse. He's giving the example of Lord Brahma that, okay, if you want to strive for the material benefit, then what is the highest perfection of material benefit? The highest perfection of material benefit is reaching to the Brahma Loka. No matter which kind of wealth you have in this material world, on this planetary world, the maximum one can live is 100 years, 10, 12 years here and there. That's it. Not beyond that. Okay. In the Kali Yuga, that's the age for a human being. Okay. So if you now people are striving for that, okay, cure for this disease, that disease, and then even if a person is perfectly healthy, will not live beyond that. Okay, no matter how much wealth you have. And then what to speak of then going to the higher planetary system? Then Prabhupada is giving, nice calculation here. And first, Krishna is explaining that 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's day. So that comes down to 311 trillion years. So 1,000 Chaturyugas. So here by ages is a group of time, or a group of big amount of time is called ages. I haven't seen in ages. Sometimes we say that long time. Now here the Brahma's day is 1,000 Chaturyugas. Okay, that includes Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, and Satyuga. And then similarly, Brahma's night is there. And then in the next verses, we'll see that how we become manifest, jivas become manifest during the daytime of Brahma. And then when Brahma goes to sleep, then all the jivas, all this material world becomes, unmanifest. Now think about how painful it is that we are in an unmanifest form. We don't have a body. Okay, that's very painful, for a jiva, for a chala thing. It's very, very painful, staying in that form. That's one part which Krishna is trying to explain. Second part is that all our attraction with the material world is the attraction with the form. It's not with the matter, it's the form of the matter. For example, we can understand that that a human body, let's say we love somebody, that person we are loving is actually in a form, so we have attraction towards that at a material level. Now, if that person dies, that same body, same form, now if it is starts deteriorating, and then it actually is gone, then our love for that body is gone. It's just the form which is attracting us. Okay? We can also look at it from the example of, let's say that, Mataji's love jewelry, and the king of the jewelry is diamond. Diamond is nothing but carbon. It's just produced under the pressure, lot of pressure. Okay, lot of diamond is found in the where coals are there. In fact, coal is the precursor to diamond. It just hasn't gotten. It's in the process of becoming diamond. It's very similar to that. It just that it hasn't been under the enough pressure yet, and then for the enough time, and that's why it is coal. It's not diamond yet. If that now think about it, the form which is that matter, same matter, when changed to diamond, we have attraction towards that. But when it remains coal, nobody will see that is wearing a nice coal studded in the finger ring or in a necklace. Nobody will like to wear coal. So what people like is the form, a specific form, not the matter. So here Prabhupada is explaining that how at the end of the 1,000 Chaturyugas or one day of Brahma, everything becomes unmanifest. It not that it's destroyed. Destroyed is it just changes the form. From one form, it becomes another form. Okay. So if our attraction is towards the matter, then even if we go to the highest perfection of this material world, that's Brahma, then also it will be lost. It may, now somebody may say that, okay, that is correct, that it will be lost, but I will get to enjoy for so many years. Because if you see the 100 years, if I go to Brahma Loka and my lifespan is 100 years, just as Brahma's, then I'll be living and enjoying this thing for 311 trillion years and then 40 billion earth years. That's a long time, somebody may say. Okay, so Prabhupada is immediately crushing that logic that our desire, by saying that that's just like a flash of lightning flash. Just like when we see, it's like a moment. Also, there are numerable, you're talking about this universe, there are innumerable universes which are just coming out of the Atlantic, just like a bubble coming out in Atlantic, just like that, these universes are there. And just like if we take the span of time, it's like a flash, a lightning flash, and then a bubble bursting. Universe is bursting like a bubble. Just if we take the entire duration. Okay? So we cannot, strive for that. Okay? And then what he goes on and says that, and even if you reach to the Brahma Loka, Prabhupada is here highlighting, you'll not actually get rid of the miseries of this material world, and that is birth, old age, disease, and death. Even Brahma goes through this. Okay? So, so I'd like to stop here and then see if there are any reflections or points we want to share. But before I stop, I'd like to highlight again that First point is that the only way we can uh, get rid of uh, the miseries of this material world is by remembering Krishna, and not that remembering in the morning and then we are done. Satatam kirtayantoma, constantly engaged in the in the remembering. Okay, and we have to do it because what we are going through is the preparation, and actually the exam is that the only way we know. So the student prepares for the entire year, but how good is the preparation is only known when the student appears in the exam at the at the um, final time. So similarly, um, our preparation will actually our final exam is the death, and then we hear so many glorious departures of devotees because they prepared really nicely. Because the exam is going to be really tough. It's Acharya has explained that it's like 1,000 scorpions biting at one point, okay, at the same time. It's like that. Okay, and then so that's second point, and final point is that we may get these desires to go to the higher planetary system, and just like very expert teacher. Now who is better teacher than Krishna? um, so he's actually explaining very nicely that how your other desires can actually are not well formed, well grounded, because these are the problems with uh, even higher planetary systems. What to speak of trying to make life very comfortable in this on this planet. Even the higher planets, these are the problems. Okay. So anyone have any points, comments, reflections to share? Looks like not. So over to you, Sumishra Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, are you there? Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Nandut Pranam. All good. Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu. So nicely, so wonderfully explaining the life and the Brahmas and the life over here. What is most important for each and everybody. Thank you so much for nicely putting everything together. So, dear devotees, if you have any comments, any questions, we have time to discuss. This is a discussion session. If you have any comments, any questions, any reflections, any concerns, anything you would like to add from your experience, that'd be, let's have some discussion also. Thank you. Let's all speak up here. It's not, you're all nice devotees. You all always have something to add, something to speak on basis
Hare
of.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I would say thank you for explaining it so well. And like when we see all this calculation of 3 trillion and 80 billion, it's all beyond calculate. Like it's beyond, I would say that comprehension. And when we see that this is the 100 years of Brahma, and there's also and that life of Brahma is also is just like a flashing point. So when we look at such big things, then this feeling, this thought dawns into us that all the problems which we see, they seem so insignificant. Because suppose like I was thinking to get, suppose, a CD player or something like that, and I'm tense about it. Oh, I missed it because I didn't buy it at the discounted price. Now the prices are $60 up. I should wait. So like those are the things for which we worry about, and which in reality, when we look things in such a broad perspective, then everything appears so insignificant. Are all the troubles or the problems, in reality, those are nothing.
Yeah, that's that's a wonderful reflection, Prabhuji, realization um, that yes, if we look at it, look at our um, day-to-day problems, uh, looking into the broader perspective, they appear so insignificant. At the same time, Prabhuji, there is another thought that which we strive for is that we try to make our life very comfortable in this material world. Okay, um, and then we become frustrated because one or the other problem troubles us. Okay? Their origin, Shastras explain that the problem's origin can be Adidevik, Adibhautik, or Adhyatmik, either originating from the self or somebody else, or something which is coming from the devatas. But what we have to understand is that the purpose of this world is not to have our life comfortable. This is ashashvata dukkhalaya. This is a place of misery. And no matter how much we try, we cannot have a perfect, very comfortable life in this material world. Okay, because its purpose is not meant for that. No, it's not meant for a very comfortable life. No, so one or the other problem will, in fact, Acharyas explain that anything, this material world has a dual nature. Something which pleases us will start giving us trouble as well. A very simple example could be that you buy a car, and then you're very happy that, oh yes, now I'll have a very comfortable car to drive around. Okay, it can take me from one place to another. At the same time, right when the car comes, oh, there's now gas expense, there is a insurance expense, then and a worry to is it safe or not? I hope I have to park it nicely. What if some ticket, somebody, some cop gives me some ticket? So all those challenges, and that's actually inbuilt, that's programmed in this material world, that it's not going to have, nobody is going to have a comfortable and then happy life. That's the only way devotees can have happiness is by serving the Supreme. Okay, and that's because Supreme is the Satchidananda Vigraha. Okay, so by serving, we get the glimpse of what will be the what is the real happiness. Okay? So we should not become frustrated. Sometimes devotees say that, oh, why Krishna is doing this to me? But if we have right understanding of the Shastra, we understand that, okay, it's something which is actually programmed in this material world. It has to happen. It will happen. Okay, and this is also a place of purification. Okay, just like when we, example can be that when we visit a hospital, sometime the doctor puts us through the pain, putting stitches or doing some surgical operation, and we cannot actually complain that, oh, you doctor is putting us through the pain. doctor is putting us through the pain because so that we can get cured. So similarly, the nature of this material world is to put us through pain so that we can purify ourselves and then look for the real happiness. Okay? So that's something which I wanted to highlight. But thank you so much for that point, Prabhuji. It's a very wonderful point that yes, looking things in the broader sense will definitely make us understand things in right perspective. Thank you for your darshan, Prabhuji. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very nice. Anybody else? Anybody? Anything to add? Any comments? There are some discussions. So nice to reveal what's your perspective. What's
I have
your
a question. I have a question, Prabhuji, if nobody else is asking.
sure.
So so question is on the next verse, that at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. So this unmanifest state, uh, if you can explain what exactly it is, it's definitely not pradhana, right? Pradhana is at the beginning of the
It's in the
creation.
beginning. Yeah.
It's at the very, very beginning. So what kind of state it is, if you can shed some light? And if I may add another follow-up, that this also falls under various destructions which
Yeah.
happen.
Four
uh,
four
so
types.
4 types. So if you can explain what are those 4 types of destructions, that will be great, Prabhuji.
Yeah. There are four types. One is actually, as we all know, that it's the beginning of Mahavishnu. That's a Mahakalpa at the end of Brahma, like 311 trillion years. So the Brahma also, annihilates. Brahma also disappears. So this is called Mahakalpa or Prakritya. Prakritya means it's natural, right? It's all back to the Godhead, Mahavishnu. So we know that from the Mahavishnu, the Pradhan, the Mahatattva comes, then Brahma manifests. So day of Brahma means that is called Naimittika, occasional. That means, so what happens? Up to Sorgaloka, every one day of Brahma, then it's actually destroys, its pralaya happens, there is a thousands of years, there is a rain and so much of heat, then it's accumulate, then after that there's a pralaya, everything actually destroys, and then what happens, pure souls goes up to the Janaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, and likes that, right? So Brahma's day and night means all the living entities were created by Brahma, that means Visarga. So that means all whatever it is subject to destruction, all their material bodies will be disappear. That means what happens in this, it's very nicely mentioned that in the Bhagavatam, earth goes back to the water, then water goes back to the fire, then fire goes back to the
Yeah.
air goes back to the ether, then either goes back to the mind, and then of course including the senses and everything, then goes back to that original form of the supreme, that's a supreme potency of Vishnu. That's called unmanifested state, or we can say that it all goes back to the body of Mahavishnu. Let's take this way actually. um, Mahavishnu completely covers the entire cosmic creations. It's like a superset, and then there is a subset, right? So Mahavishnu's potency is everywhere, in every, even an atom, but in the form of a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. But sometimes we see that these are three different personalities. But these are not, these are one personality, but three different potencies, three different ways acts.
Mm.
When you say Mahavishnu, Mahavishnu is complete, and that just the plenary expansion of Mahavishnu is, we can say that, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, but in a different function. But the potency is all same person. Like when we say Krishna and Vishnu, this is like, for an example, a judge. Judge in the courtroom, that's like a Vishnu, that awe and reverence. And same like that, the same judge in the house, when it comes back to the house, it's like Krishna, it's like intimacy. So similarly, in the similar concepts, Vishnu, that's the same potency, but in a different form, but this everything is same in the sense of, so all these potencies are actually coming from the Lord himself. Nothing happens. So even the potency of a mind, potency of senses, everything is part of that Krishna. That's because of everything comes from him. So it goes back to the Vishnu. Either can we say that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or the Virat Roop. So we know that when Krishna showed the universal form to Arjuna, it was a Virat Roop of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Remember? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, same Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and we saw that everybody goes back into the mouth of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or Virat Roop, and then another mouth is coming out, right? So this is taking place in all cosmos. There are hundreds of universes now going back to the mouth of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and hundreds of universes coming out also at the same time, manifesting and unmanifesting. So manifesting means appears in its form, and that's, it takes time. That's a Brahma is making sure that putting in right body. Then the Brahma's night, its soul annihilates by the devouring potency or Kala Shakti. That's known as Kala Shakti, devouring potency. And that's the time the Sangarshana, the false ego, the Mahasangarshana, the deity, predominant deity is Mahasangarshana. Mahasangarshana get this agitated that time. Then the time comes. Then what happens? Then Mahasangarshana's another plenary expansion is known as Lord Shiva. Similarly, Lord Shiva get agitated. So then Shiva get into the, what is called Tandava and everything. By that potency, then what happens? Everything kind of destroyed. That's why, everything burns up and fire comes out from the Shiva and the third eye. Everything burns out, and then it goes back to the Vishnu. And then that is actually very subtle in the sense of the subtle and the soul, right? The subtle body. It goes back to the, Mahavishnu along with it. So then again, when the day comes, when, Brahma comes out from the sleep, everything come out from the body of Vishnu. And then it takes place due course of time. It's not that, immediately it happens, like, just flash of like what happens. And it's a very nicely defined, like there are, there is a cola, there is a bacteria called a cola. It just lives only 10 minutes. It comes, it's scientifically proven. It comes, leaves, and it's reproduce, and it's dwindle, and 6 stages of life. It goes to birth, it grows up, then is reproduced, then dwindle, and then disappears, right? But what it is basically disappears is actually that same way of their soul and the settled body, gross body disappears exactly like that. So the death of every living entity, that point of time, the gross body is disappears, but the settled body and the soul goes back to the body of Mahavishnu or Vishnu. And then at the daytime, it comes back to the life, because Brahma knows that. Brahma put in right place because of their past karma. So unless and until that is the Naimitika. Then all the time there is also, even there is a creation, at the same time there is a destruction. All the moment there is creation and destruction, it happens. So the same potency of the Supreme, the Kala Shakti, the devouring potency, also the creative potency. Creative potency is actually known as the Kriya Shakti and the Kala Shakti and the Nicha Shakti of the Lord. So it's a very wonderful topic, right? So it happens, creation happens at the same time also annihilation. That's why exactly it showed one mouth of the Krishna, the universal form, everything comes out, and another mouth is goes in. So it's various potencies. Then actually that's called. There is also a partial pralaya. That's actually yuga. Like every yuga, there is a partial pralaya. So these are the four types. Every moment, every yuga, and then one day of Brahma, then one life of Brahma. That's the one life of Brahma is the time period of, it's as mentioned, Mahavishnu takes everything in, breathing in. And that we don't know, right? What is the time, exact time period? Then he holds it, and then it comes out from Mahavishnu, and this is the one breathing period, and that's a complete, prakritya, complete devastation. Yeah, I mean, it's in a nutshell. Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Did it
wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
explain? Thank you. It's very nice. Yes. Anything else? Anybody else has anything to add? Yeah, Hare Krishna. So let's then start with our Damodara Ashtakam, and then we'll recite. Everybody can recite, and then everybody can read the translation. And let me put the share the Damodara Ashtakam. Do you want to sing, Proji, Damodara Ashtakam?
Yes, Prabhuji. You want to say?
Yes.
Okay. Osh is also here, Prabhuji. He also
Oh,
wants.
please. Wonderful. Very nice. You should engage children also in this. Yeah, please sing.
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं
Namami Swaram Sachidanandarupam
यशोदानन्दरूपं
Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam
यशोदाभियोलुकल्लवमानं परमिष्टयुग्मे आद्यन्ततो धृत्यगोप्या
Yashodaviyolu Kaladhavamanam Paramrishtamadanda Nritya Gopya. So we'll read the translation. So then go one by one. Yeah.
To the supreme controller who possesses an internal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and he then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances.
Yeah.
Udantam muhurvetam yugam rejantam karambojayugmena shantakanetram.
Rudandam Muhurnetra Amrichandam Paramrayukmena Sadhanganetram
Muhushvashakam patrirekhanka kantha Stita Damodaram bhaktibaddham
Muhushvasakam Madri Khanga Kandha Idagrivam Damodaram Bhaktivartham. Please read the translation.
Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick. And as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. इति दृक्ष्वलीलाभिरानन्तकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम्
Iti Driksolilabhiranandakunde Sughosham Nimachandam Khyapayandam.
तदीयेषितग्नेषु भक्तजितातं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सतावृत्ति वन्दे
Tadhiyeshidagneshu bhaktirjidatvam Puna prematastam sadhavati vande. So some other devotees can read on the list. Please go ahead. Devotees Jayaprakash Prabhu, please go ahead. And other devotees.
Maybe I can read.
Yeah, please.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan in Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodara, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah.
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वरिं वा न चान्यं मृणेऽहं वरे सदपि
Varam deva moksham na moksham vadim va na janyam vrineham resadapiha.
इदं देव पुरनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्याविहास्तं किमन्ये
Idam deva purnada gopala balam sadha me manasyavi kashtam kimanye. Please read the translation. Anybody else?
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayers is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your features of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
Yeah.
इदं ते मुखं भोजम् अत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुण्तले स्निग्ध रक्तस्य गोप्या
Idam te mukhambhojam atyandanilai pradam kundalai snigdha yaktasya gopya.
मुहुर्शिम्बितं बिम्बरक्तवरम्बे मनस्या विरासम् आलं लक्षलाभे
Muhushchumbidam bimbaraktawaram me manasya virastam alam lakshalabhe. Go ahead, devotees.
O Lord, the cheeks of your black lotus face. O Lord, the cheeks of your black lotus face, which is encircled by looks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruits due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
नमो देव दामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाब्धिमग्नम्
नमो
Namo
देवदामोदरानन्द
Devadananda
विष्णो
Vishnu
प्रसीद
Prasida
प्रभो
Prabhu
दुःख
Dukha
फलाब्धिमग्नम्
कृपा दृष्टि विश्यन्ति दिनं बदारु गृहाणि क्षमामग्न्यं यथेक्ष दृश्य
कृपादृष्टिविषयान्तीनं वदानो गृहनिशमामस्नं यदक्षिदृश्या
O limited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in the ocean of sorrow and I am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarine vision. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
कुबेरात्मजो बद्धमूर्तय तत्त्वा त्वया मोचितो भक्ति भजो कृतौ च
कुबेरात्मजौबधमुत्रैव यद्वा त्वया मोचितो भक्तिर्भजतु च
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं साकाम्य प्रयच्छ नमो गृहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरेह
तदा
तथा
प्रेमभक्तिं सुखमे प्रयाच नमो गृहमेष्टि दामोदरेह
O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby mother Yashoda, bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then feed the son of freed the son of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, who were cursed to stand as a tree, and you give them the chance to become your devotee. Please bless me in this same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence.
Jai.
नमस्तेऽस्तु दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमस्ते
Namaste,
दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने तधियोधराय विश्वास्य दाम्ने
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयाय प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकाय प्रियाय नमो नन्दलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope, I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Jai.
Jai.
Anybody else wanted to read any of the translation? This is a prayer to the Lord.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, please.
Can I read number 7, Prabhuji?
Number 7. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
it's there. Yeah. O Lord Damodara, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nal Kuvera, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in this same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? We miss? Want to read? Sudhagar Prabhu? You didn't read? Are you there? Sudhagar Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Please read. Which one?
Oh Lord. Number 4, Prabhuji.
Number 4, right? Yeah.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
Okay. Anybody else want to read any others? Okay, I'll read the fifth one. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruits due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more I can describe than this? Millions of opulence are no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. Shri Radha Damodar ji ki jai.
Yeah.
So thank you, dear devotees. It's so nice, so wonderful that we are culminating nearing the Kartik period, Damodar period tomorrow. So we have a program at the temple starting at 7 o'clock with the Gaura Arati, then we'll have Kirtan, then we'll have a Damodar Ashtakam, and I humbly request, encourage everybody to join. So this is the last day of Kartik Vrata, and there are some devotees continue to do. Mainly, this Vrata is to purify ourselves, and as we mentioned earlier, Mother Yashoda bound Krishna with loads of efforts. Starting from the morning till around evening time, Mother Yashoda was trying and trying and trying to bind Krishna. And then finally, by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy, so that the devotion for Mother Yashoda for Krishna, by surrendering unto him, then Krishna showed the mercy, and Mother Yashoda could bind Krishna. So it was mentioned that this entire Kartik month or Damodara month is actually mainly for to bind Krishna, to bind in our heart. So what it means by that, bind in the heart, that means we don't finish, oh my God, Kartik is ended, I don't need to then remember, I don't need to do anything else. It's over, now I can't do anything else, everything else, whatever I want. No, that's not the fact. So this is for, so that by this 30 days, we get some purification and we continue with it. We continue with the same mood of devotion to the Lord Damodara. The same mood of devotion to the Supreme Lord Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar is none other than Damodara Shyama Sundar all. So that we continue with it. So that's the main purpose of this, that we get, so that we bind. If somebody is actually now, okay, Kartik is finished, now I don't need to do anything else, that means we didn't bind Krishna. We didn't, capture Krishna. So the purpose is we bind Krishna and keep it in our heart and continue with it throughout the year and all the time. And that's the purpose, that's the perfection of everything. So that's the purpose of all this. So don't always miss that. Sometimes we are sentimental, we do things according to the sentiments, but the real sense, the real meaning of all this actually to bind Krishna in our heart. And with our sincere effort, sincere intention, sincere devotion, Krishna will allow himself to come to our mind. So that's the main thing. So please continue to do that, and every day. Thank you so much, and let's conclude today's session. And thank you all for all this during this Kartik, and so many devotees, this wonderful services, and so many devotees participated and joined so many ways, and put their efforts to perform various Kartik programs. We are all very much indebted to you all, and we are all taking the dandavas to all of your lotus feet because of your all wonderful devotees, and devotees are very rare and very special on this planet. So I especially myself, taking the shelter of your all lotus feet, taking the dust of your lotus feet, that had this wonderful association of the Kartik. Please join tomorrow at the temple so that we can culminate and we can offer ourselves and we can bind Krishna like Mother Yashoda bound Krishna. We can bind Krishna in our heart, then we can keep it in our heart. So thank you so much. And especially Rahul Prabhu, you're there, and I think that you joined in between. It's so nice to be, you're there in many programs joining, and Ramya Mataji is joined after that. It's so nice, so wonderful, in between. And Anuradha Mataji is, of course, joined and wonderfully performed. All this shows that how much devotion the devotees have. And this is not ordinary. This is an extremely, extremely, extremely fortunate moments in our life. Fortunate moments in our life. Krishna takes note of every steps that we take. Every step that we take. So please, continue and be in always association of devotees, be in always association of Krishna, be in always association of the acharyas and the scriptures, and always try to listen and hear. So this way our life can be perfect, otherwise it can go here and there. There's no use of it. So thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you for this wonderful Karthik programs. And anything else? Anybody else would like to add anything, especially?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
I
Krishna.
Pranam and glories to Prabhupada,
Pranam,
and
all good.
Danvat and Pranam to you, to your
No,
lotus feet.
what?
It's
No,
been
no, no,
always very
please.
helpful to, they've been motivating everyone to come into this platform and listen and hear, and encouraging everyone to sing along. Definitely it's helping us, our heart, our devotees and everything. We are trying to help everyone, and thank you for doing that. All glories to you, and all,
No, no, no. All glories
Danvat
to
to
the
you and
devotees. I mean, it's
everybody.
Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
Nothing that me or anything. It's all mercy of Krishna. Nothing that we're all instruments. We are all part of Krishna's arrangement. That's all.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for organizing this. Really, we really appreciate your time and your effort.
No, no, sis. I can't live without this.
Koti pranam to your lotus feet of Prabhuji.
I
Thank you
can't
so
do
much.
anything else. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Any? Okay. Thank you. Please join tomorrow at the temple. It's a wonderful opportunity, especially on the day of Karthik. And in India, it is 19th. Some devotees may continue, extend till 19th. Some places they are actually even 20th. Depends. And according to the our calendar, lunar calendar, is actually Karthik is still on till I don't know, maybe like another 1.5 week or something like that. Still Karthik is on the lunar calendar. We follow Vedic calendar. This month is Damodara, and after Damodara, after this Purnima, is Keshava, the month of Keshava. So there are 12 months. Keshava, then Narayana, then no, Madhava, then Govinda, then Vishnu, the month of Vishnu, then Rishikesh, then Madhusudana, Rishikeshana, then Vamana, then Sridhara, Rishikesh, and then Padmanabha, Damodara. Then again comes to the Keshava. So this is that's why, we chant this. And so this is the Vedic calendar. So Damodara month. And then after Keshava, the month of Keshav. So it's wonderful. Thank you so much. So let's pay our obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarupasya
Tarupasya kripa
kripa sindhubhya evacha
patitana
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Namo
And
Namo
especially thank you for Rosh. I was so happy that children comes and enthusiastically singing. I was looking for all this time. Children should participate in all, and we should have very much care about that. Children come and participate and do some devotional activity. It's
He
better than
sang very
anything.
nicely also.
Very nicely. Thank you, Osh, for joining today. And you should join early every day. So, but continue.
Thank you.
Continue. Yeah, thank you, Osh, for nicely singing. Thank
Thank you. Haribol. Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you, Akhilesh
Srimad
Krishna
Bhagavad
Prabhuji.
Gita ki jai. Srila
Ki
Prabhupada
jai,
ki
Srila
jai.
Prabhupada
Nanda
ki
Gaudi
jai,
Vaishnava
Jai
Vrinda.
Vaishnava ki
Jai
Jai.
jai.
Premanande. Thank
Jai.
you, Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful
Thank
class.
you.
Thank you, Osh, for
Hare Krishna.
wonderful singing.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Bol.
you.
Hare.
Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.